Greetings! Mandatory79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Tier Days! Alrighty, let's get started. Pressing the A button now. Loading game. Here we are in the main menu, going to edit deck. Here we are in the edit deck menu. And now for today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is Dragon Empires, Heavy Artillery of Duststorm, Eugene, D-BT02. Okay, and for the deck I'm building, I'm going to be using this D-BT01 Eugene deck as the right deck cost, okay? Alright, going into the deck, edit deck. Here we are, and now like I just mentioned before, the deck profile I'm going to be making in today's video is a Dragon Empires, Heavy Artillery of Duststorm, Eugene deck comprised of only cards available up until D-BT02. So first off, let's apply filter settings, pack, only show cards from D-BT01, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT02, A Brush with the Legends, and Festival Collection 2021, which was released between the two boosters, so apply filter. Okay, let's get started. So first up, the Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3's deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 3, Heavy Artillery of Duststorm, Eugene. His skills are, first skill, action as a Vanguard, once per turn. Cost, rest 2 rear guards. If the cost been paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. And second skill, action as a Vanguard, once per turn. If your opponent's rear guard is retired this turn, cost, Soul Blast 5. If the cost been paid, look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as the number of your opponent's open rearguard circles. Choose any number of the unit cards from among them and call the rearguard circle. Put the rest into your soul. So for Eugene, he's the main Grade 3 around his deck. His first skill, just by resting 2 rearguards, you give powers to your Vanguard Eugene as long as a rearguard is retired during that turn. And the second skill, if a rear guard is retired in the same turn, you can pay a cost of Soul Blast 5. If you've done so, you'll be able to look over the same number of cards from your deck as the number of open rear guard circles on your opponent's field. Then superior call any unit cards among them. Cards that don't get called will instead be put into your soul. So this is a good card skill to use for retiring opponent's rear guards, adding power to your Vanguard, and superior calling new rear guards to attack with, and restocking your soul for the next Soul Blast. So for Eugene, we're playing 4 of him, put 1 in the right deck. Next up, Grade 3, Penetrate Dragon, Tribash. His skill is auto as a rear guard. When your Vanguard attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, cost, put this into your soul. If you pay the cost, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets plus 1 critical until the end of the battle. So for Tribash, he's a good card to use in the Eugene deck. Since Eugene specializes in retiring rear guards, it'll be able to fulfill the if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards requirement. So just by attacking your Vanguard, your Tribash will give your Vanguard an extra critical to work with, making it easier to pressure your opponents with more damage. So for Tribash, we're playing 4 of him. Next up, Grade 3, Order, Sunlight Punishment. Not going to play this card, so take 2 out. So next up, the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2 to this deck, we're playing right deck, Grade 2, Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm, Randor. His skills are, first skill, auto. When this unit is ridden upon by Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene, draw a card. Then choose up to 1 card from your drop zone and put into your soul. And second skill, auto as a Vanguard or rear guard. When this unit attacks, if your Vanguard has 2 or less rear guards, counterblast 1. If the cost been paid, soul charge 1. And this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the battle. So for Randor, he's the main Grade 2 to ride in this deck. His first skill, just by riding Eugene atop him, you can draw a card and take any card from your drop zone and put into your soul, thus allowing you to restock your hand and soul. And the second skill, just by attacking and paying the cost of Counterblast 1, your Vanguard or Rearguard Rando will not only let you restock your soul with an extra card, but to also become a 15,000 point attacker all on its own. So for Randor, we have 4, so taking 3 out, we're only going to play 1 in the right deck. Next up, the Grade 2, Stealth Rogue of Iron Blade, Oshikuni. His skill is auto as a rear guard. When this unit attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the battle. So for Oshikuni, he's a basic 15,000 point attacker for decks that specialize in wiping out your opponent's rear guards. Just by wiping out your opponent's rear guards until they have 2 or less, your Oshikuni can be a 15,000 point attacker from your front row. So For Ochikuni, we're playing 4 and keeping 4. Next up, the Grade 2 Strong Fortress Dragon, Gibra Brachio. His skills are: first skill, action as a rear guard. If your Vanguard is Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene, cost Soul Blast 1 and rest this unit. If the cost been paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and rest it. And the second skill, as a rear guard, auto. At the beginning of your battle phase, if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, stand this unit, and this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. So for Gibra Brachio, he's a good support card for the Eugene deck. His first skill, just by paying a cost and resting him, you can retire an opponent's rear guard. And the second skill, as long as there's 1 or less rear guards in your opponent's field, you'll be able to restand him and give him plus 5,000 power. So Gibra Brachio can be used as fodder for Eugene's rest rear guard skill or using his own skill. Then later, when it's time to go to the battle phase, he'll restand, becoming a 15,000 point attacker from your front row. So for Gibra Brachio, we're playing 4 of him. Okay, next up, what else should we put? Here, the Grade 2 Somo Beiji Dragon Hungrosaurus. Skill is continuous as a rear guard. During your turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. And if your opponent's front row is a rear guard, this unit cannot attack the Vanguard. So for Hungrosaurus, he's basically a 15,000 point attacker for decks that specialize in retiring rear guards. As long as there are no rear guards on your opponent's front row, he'll be able to attack your opponent's Vanguard with a 15,000 point attack power. So for Hungrosaurus, we're playing 2 of him. Okay. Now for the Grade 1 lineup. The Grade 1 Stealth Dragon Tension stat, not going to play this anymore, so taking 3 out. Next up, the right deck, Grade 1 Gunning of Duststorm, Nigel. His skill is, first skill, auto. When this unit is ridden upon by Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm Randor, Soul Charge 1. And second skill is a rear guard. When your opponent's rear guard is retired during your turn, Counter Blast 1 and retire this unit. If the cost been paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So for Nigel, he's the main Grade 1 to ride his deck. His first skill, just by riding Randor on top of him, you'll be able to Soul Charge 1. And the second skill, whenever you retire an opponent's rear guard, as long as you don't mind paying the cost, you can retire another rear guard, thus enabling you to clear out your opponent's field of rear guards. So for Nigel, we have 4, taking 3 out. Just gonna play 1 in the right deck. Okay. Next up, the Grade 1 Stealth Fiend Shiga Monaco. Her skill is auto as a rear guard. When your opponent's rear guard is retired during your main phase, cost retire this unit. If the cost is paid, look at the top card of your deck. You may call it if it's a unit card to the rear guard circle. If you do not call, put it into the soul. So for Shiga Monaco, she's a good card to work with Eugene's skill. Just by retiring a rear guard and retiring her, you'll be able to replace her with a new potential attacker or booster from the top of your deck, or just put it into your soul to restock your Soul Blast. So for Shiga Monaco, we'll have 4, taking 1 out, playing 3. And next up, the Grade 1 Drag Rider Eaterus. His skill is action as a rear guard. If your opponent's rear guard is retired this turn, cost Counter Blast 1 and perform one of the following. If the cost been paid, you can choose to either give this unit plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn, or put this unit into your soul, choose one of your opponent's Grade 2 or greater rear guards and retire it. So for Eaterus, he's a good support card for the Eugene decks. Once you retire a rear guard during your main phase, as long as you don't mind paying the Counter Blast of 1, you can choose to either turn Eaterus into a 15,000 point attacker or 15,000 point booster, or put him into the soul and wipe out your opponent's field of more rear guards. So for Eaterus, we're playing 4 of him. And no, it's gonna play 3. Okay, play 3 of him. Next up, Grade 1 Stealth Dragon Kizan Reiji. His skill is action as a rear guard. Once per turn, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1. If the cost has been paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the same column of this unit and retire it. As for Kizan Reiji, he's a decent Dragon Empire Nation Grade 1 that works with any deck really. Just by having him in the rear guard and paying the cost, you can retire any rear guard in the same column as Kizan Reiji, making it a good way to clear out your opponent's field and giving you more of an advantage. So for Kizan Reiji, you're playing 3 of him. Next up, the Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s this deck, we're playing right deck Grade 0 Double Gun of Duststorm Bart. His skill is auto. When this unit is ridden upon, if you went second, draw a card. So pretty much he's the starting unit in this deck. Go second, draw a card. So for Bart, we're playing 1 the right deck. Next up, the trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we're playing 4 Grade 0 Conduct Spark Dragon, critical trigger. Then the Grade 0 Blaze Bitten Zon, taking 4 of her out. And instead we're playing the Grade 0, Blaze Maiden, Parama, front trigger. Her skill is continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Parama, she's a powerful front trigger to play in your Dragon Empire Nation decks. Just by guarding her while your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or more, she becomes a 20,000 point shield all by herself. So for Parama, we're playing 4 of her. Next up, the Grade 0, Rushing Dragon, Steel Dilophoe, draw trigger. We're playing 3 of him. And then the Grade 0, White Light Dragon, Parasolus, heal trigger. We're playing 4 of him. And last but not least, the Grade 0, Dragon Deity King of Resurgence, Drag Vita, over trigger. His skill is trigger additional effect, choose one of your Vanguards and stand it. So like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, Drag Vita features the same skill and activation. Just by revealing it during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card, but he also features an ability that's unique to him alone. Just by revealing him during a drive check, during your turn, you'll be able to restand your Vanguard for another attack. So for Drag Vita, he's a powerful Dragon Empire over trigger for any build, really. So since just by restanding your Vanguard, you have another chance to get triggers and to restock your hand. So for Drag Vita, we're playing 1. Okay, deck has been built. Card effects explained. So let's save the deck. Overwrite deck being built. The deck has been built. Card effects explained. So for the cards we're playing in this deck, we're using 4, Grade 3, Heavy Artillery of Duststorm, Eugene. 4, Grade 3, Penetrate Dragon, Tribash. 1, Grade 2, Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm, Randor. 4, Grade 2, Stealth Rogue of Iron Blade, Oshikuni. 4, Grade 2, Strong Fortress Dragon, Gibra Brachio. 2, Grade 2, Somo Feiji Dragon, Hungersaurus. Next up, 4, Grade 1, Twin Buckler Dragon. The Grade 1, Gunning of Duststorm, Nigel, we're playing 1. 3, Stealth Fiend, Shiga Manago. Grade 1. 3, Grade 1, Drag Raider Idris. 3, Grade 1, Stealth Dragon, Kizan Reiji. Grade 0, Double Gun of Duststorm, Bart, starting unit. Then for the trigger lineup of this deck, we're playing 4 critical triggers, 4 front triggers, 3 draw triggers, 4 heal triggers, 1 over trigger, Drag Vita. Alright, deck built, card effects explained, so let's get on to testing out the decks. First, let's change the deck sleeves. Change sleeves, and for right deck sleeves, we're using Team Renka sleeves as right deck sleeve. Press Y, okay. Dragon Empire as main deck sleeve, okay. That should do it. Alright, deck has been built, card effects explained, deck sleeves changed, so let's get into testing out the deck. So going back to main menu, going to fight menu, CPU fight, and now choosing the new deck I just built, and choosing an opponent. Okay, for my opponent, I'm going to be fighting. Let's see who would be a good opponent. I guess Masaru Kita, normal difficulty. Alright, the battle begins. Let's get started. So, deciding who goes first. So, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper to scissors, I lose, going second. Okay. Drawing starting hands, I return 1 perfect guard. Redraw. Okay. Stand up the Vanguard. So, my opponent's turn, he draws, he rides. Deep Sonicer, skill, he soul charges 1. Okay. My turn, I draw. I'm going to ride for my right deck, Gunning of Duststorm, Nigel. I discard Tribash to the right deck cost, right Nigel. Skill, I draw a card. Draw. Okay, I call Shiga Manago to the rear guard. And beginning battle phase, my Vanguard to Vanguard, AK. Drive check. No trigger, okay. Damage check. No trigger, safe, okay. Rear guard Shiga Manago attacks the Vanguard, AK. He guards with draw trigger. Alright. The attack is blocked, and that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn, he rides Grade 2, Electro Spartan. He calls Selfish Engraver. Okay, Vanguard to Vanguard, no guard, take the hit. Drive check, no trigger, Barrel Magnus, no, he can Persona Ride. 1 damage, out, damage check, no trigger. Selfish Engraver attacks. I guard with a critical trigger, 23k. Attack blocks. Alrighty, so it's over. My turn. I stand and draw. I'm going to ride my right deck. Cataclysmic Bull of Duststorm, Randor. I discard another Tri-Bash to the right deck cost. Ride. Nigel's skill. I Soul Charge. I Soul Charge a Grade 2. Alright, moving Shigimonago back. And I'm gonna call Hungrosaurus and give a Brachio. Beginning battle phase. Hungrosaurus. Nope, I activate my rear guard skill plus 5,000 power. Okay. Hungrosaurus attacks the rear guard, 15k. The attack goes through, nice. So 1 rear guard down, Vanguard to Vanguard. Randor skill, counterblast 1. I'm gonna Soul Charge and Soul Charge. I put a front trigger. Okay, the attack goes through. Drive check, no trigger. 1 damage, damage check. Critical trigger, no. He gets power to his Vanguard. Alright, boosted by Shigimonago. Brachio attacks the Vanguard, 23k. Will he guard? Nope, he doesn't guard, so 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger, okay. So that's done. My turn. Nope, my opponent's turn. He rides the Grade 3, Master of Gravity, Barrel Magnus. And Sonicer skill. Nope. Spartan skill, he Soul Charges and calls Soul Charge again. Okay, not good. Vanguard to Vanguard, no guard, take the hit. First check, perfect guard, not good. And second check, critical trigger, nah! 2 damage to me and power to the rear guard. Here it comes, 2 damage. And here it comes, ow! Damage check first, no trigger. And second check, critical trigger. I give all effects to Vanguard. Okay. Rear guard to Vanguard. Hungrosaurus intercepts, 25k. Attack blocked. Okay. Now it's my turn. I stand and draw. I'm going to ride my right deck, Heavy Artillery of Duststorm Eugene. I discard a heal trigger as the... Nope, I'm going to discard a... A Oshikuni is the right deck cost. Right Eugene. Randor skill, I draw 1 card and Soul Charge. Okay, I'm going to put Tri-Bash into the Soul. Next up, I activate my Vanguard skill. I rest 2 units. And, yep, retire rear guard. Retire. Shigimonago skill. Nope, power to Vanguard. Shigimonago skill. Retire her. I look at the top card of my deck. Oshikuni, Superior Call. Call to the rear guard. Alright, then I'm going to activate Eugene's skill. I Soul Blast 5 cards. I search up to 5 cards on the top of my deck and put any cards into the rear guard and Soul. I choose to put into my rear guard Kizan Reiji, Shigimonago, and Dilopho. The rest go to the Soul. Kizan Reiji to the rear guard on the left, Shigimonago on the right, Dilopho on the center. Call. New cards to the Soul. Alright, Beginning battle phase. Brachio skill. Restand plus power. Okay, ready? So first up, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. 28k. He doesn't guard. Twin drive. First check. No trigger. And second check. Come on, something good. Draw trigger. Yes, just what I needed. I draw a card. He's on Reiji. I give power to Brachio. Alright, 1 damage. Here it comes. Bang, bang, bang. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Explode. And 1 damage. Yes, no trigger. Safe. Boosted by Kizan Reiji. Oshikuni attacks the Vanguard. Skill plus 5,000 power. Total 23k to the Vanguard. He guards with a critical trigger. Okay. Now boosted by Shigo Manago. Brachio attacks the Vanguard. 33k. Yes, he doesn't guard, so 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger. Okay. That's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. He Persona rides Vero Magnus. Okay. He's activating an order, soul charging. He discards his over trigger. Alright, his over trigger's out of the game. That's good news for me. Right, here comes the Vanguard skill. He's going to add power and critical. Okay. I'm going to perfect guard with Twin Buckler. Yep, here it is. Then Twin Buckler skill. I'm going to discard from my hand. I discard a draw trigger. Activate perfect guard. First check. Critical trigger. Yes, he wasted a trigger. Okay. Here it comes. Second check. Ah, heal trigger. No. Why now? Okay. Power added. Waste it. And the attack is blocked. So now it's my turn. I stand and draw. No, my over trigger came out of all the rotten luck. I Persona Ride Eugene. And adding power, drawing a card, I drew Edoris. Okay, I call Edoris to... Nope, not yet. Nothing to retire, so I'm going to activate my Vanguard skill. I rest 2 units. I rest Steel Dilopho and Brachio. Nothing to retire, but I add power to my Vanguard. Okay, that should do it. Now beginning battle phase. Brachio skill, restand, plus 5,000 power. Okay, first up, Vanguard to Vanguard, 33k. He perfect guards. He discards Vero Magnus. Okay. Twin drive, first check. No trigger. And second check. Draw trigger, yes! I give power to Brachio. I draw a card. I drew a Oshikuni. Okay. 1 attack blocked. Alright. Next up, boosted by Kizan Reiji. Oshikuni attacks. Skill plus 5,000 power. Total 33k to my opponent's Vanguard. Alright, no guard. 1 hit, slash slash, and damage check. No! Critical trigger! Ah! Power to his Vanguard, okay. Now boosted by Shigo Manago, Brachio attacks the Vanguard, 43k. Double guard, 53. The attack is blocked. Okay, that's the end of my turn. My opponent's turn. He's going to Persona Ride Vero Magnus again. Okay. He plays an order. He soul charges 3 cards and adds 1 to the drop zone. Vanguard to Vanguard. Skill, he's going to add power and critical again. Not good for me. Okay. This is a tough choice, so I'm going to guard with an over trigger. No cards to pass. First check. No trigger. And second check. No trigger. Okay. The attack is blocked. Alright. So now it's my turn. I stand and draw. I'm going to Persona Ride Eugene. Persona Ride and I'm going to activate my Vanguard skill. I rest 2 rear guards. I rest Dilopho and give a Brachio. Nothing to retire, but add power to Vanguard. Then I call E10 to the rear guard. Oversteal Dilopho. And now beginning battle phase. Brachio skill, restand, plus 5,000 power. Now here comes Vanguard to Vanguard, 38k. Key perfect guards, not good. Key guards, okay. Twin drive, first check. No trigger. And second check. No trigger, okay. Another attack blocks. And now here comes boosted by Shiga Monaco. Brachio attacks the Vanguard, 33k. Yes, the attack goes through. 1 damage. Damage check. Yes, not a heal trigger. He cannot heal. Alright, 6 damage. I win. The winner is me. And okay, I won some BP. Win. Attack at 40,000 more power. Guard at 60,000 or more shield. Perfect guarded. Did it for Solar Ride. 8 turns passed. Did it for Superior Call. Retired 5 or more opposing units. Win with 10 or more cards in hand. Drew 3 or more times in 1 turn. Got a total of 2,600 BP. Total 15,400 BP. Not bad. Press A to go next. Returning to the fight menu. Okay, leaving fight menu. Heading back to main menu. Back to main menu. Going to edit deck menu. And now... Alright, the deck has been built, card effects explained, and just tested out the deck in front of you. So with that, that's all the time we have for today. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all soon.